Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing Thai marriage and retirement visas. Had a lot of questions here recently from folks who've kind of wandered themselves, especially in light of certain things that have been happening here regionally in Southeast Asia with respect to immigration policy, as to whether or not there's sort of a better class of visa, a better category of visa, if you will, in case they were to sort of ratchet back requirements on who's going to be allowed into Thailand. If you recall, a year ago, back in 2020, when they started reopening, it wasn't just sort of reopened to every non-immigrant visa holder. It started off where the only non-immigrant visa holders who could get to Thailand were work permit holders. Then that changed to marriage visa, then retirement, then it went all the way down to tourist visa, or not down, but over, to the category of tourist visa. And then that's what brings us here. First of all, I've had people ask me this, but I don't think they're going to restrict backwards. If anything, I think things are going to ease moving forward. I want to be clear on that. But it did lead me to kind of think about making a video comparing these two visas under current circumstances. Yes, there is something to be said for a Thai marriage visa in the event that they were to lock things down like they did a year ago. I don't think that's particularly likely to happen. Also, unlike last year, I think if they were to do that, I think if and when it were to come back online, I think, my opinion, that they would bring it back online with the non-immigrant visas, sort of the way the system is now. I don't think they'd phase it in the way they did before, where work permits first, and then they allow marriage, and then they allowed retirement. I personally think if they bring it back online, they'll just allow those categories in sort of status quo ante, how it was prior to the lockdown occurring. If that were to happen, again, I don't see that occurring. I know some folks are kind of concerned about it out in our audience. I think actually what we're probably going to see is things starting to ease up quite a bit, especially as we get vaccinations rolling in here in June. And hopefully we're going to start seeing immigration policy kind of lighten up. I'd definitely love to see a lot of the other policies regarding just all of this rather, well, let's just say these restrictions that we're dealing with here. I'd like to see those in sooner rather than later as well. So hopefully we will. The purpose of this video, though, is, comparing and contrasting retirement and marriage visa. Yeah, in theory, if they were to roll it out like they did last time, if they were to lock everything up and then sort of reopen like they did last time, marriage visas were sort of prioritized timing-wise. They were allowing those folks back in prior to retirees. That said, you really need to examine the facts of your own case to determine what's best. Something people do forget, marriage visas can be a little bit more difficult to deal with sometimes, especially scrutiny of the underlying marriage itself. The other thing to bear in mind with respect to retirement versus marriage visas is retirement visas are not contingent upon the marriage continuing to exist for any reason. So one has sort of, for lack of a better term, independent status associated with a retirement visa as opposed to an marriage visa.